Hello, friends. Thank you for joining me again today. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please do well to subscribe. It will help us to spread the news to others, and then it will also help you to hear each time we'll upload a video, you get the notification. Share this video with your friends. I'm going to be talking about one of the cheapest schools to apply to in Canada, and they have funding. The school has funding. If you did not get a program that you get funding, it is cheap for you to get in there, and it's also easy for you to navigate with supervisors and other things. There are several departments there that don't require you to have a supervisor, so you are not required to have a supervisor before you get a master's program, but they will tell you it's encouraged you get a supervisor. So even if you don't get a supervisor, you can apply and get. I'll be taking these schools one after the other as time goes on in this particular series I'll be dealing with. But let's start with this school today. I don't want to take every school because it will make the video extraordinarily long. Yeah, so I will take it one after the other. So this school I'll be talking about today is, let me share my screen. I'm going to be navigating from the point of when you are looking for the school, how to apply for the school. How do you go through that? So I'm navigating from the point of searching on Google. So I'm talking about the University of Saskatchewan. University of Saskatchewan is in the province of Saskatchewan. It's one of the U15 universities, which is one of the biggest universities, research-intensive universities in Canada. So it's a good university. It's a nice university. It's a place you can go, you are sure that you're going to do a good research. So if you come to the university website, for some people that will always ask me, how do I go about it? You will see apply. If you come to apply, after clicking apply, then you scroll down, you will see graduate and undergraduates. I'm going to be dealing with graduates because most of my videos sometimes is graduate students that use it. And most of the questions I've been getting is for graduate students. So if you need something on undergraduate, write a comment. I'm going to talk about undergraduate programs. But for now, I've not gotten any comment from undergraduate students. I mean, for undergraduate programs. If I get comment for undergraduate programs, I will deal with it. But let me deal with postgraduate program because those are the people that have been asking for something. So now, for instance, I'm going to look at the department of, okay, these are the programs, master's, PhD. So they will always, you see the listing of the programs and those that are doing master, like accounting, you only have masters in accounting. You don't have PhD. In agric economics, you have both masters and PhD. For instance, let me go to agric economics. If you go to agric economics, you will see these are the programs. Masters is for 2 years, PhD is for 4 years. There's no course-based program in these programs, and it is just research-based. These are the areas of specialization in the Department of Agric Economics, Natural Resource Economics, Environmental Sustainability and Evaluation, International Trade Policy. All this, if you open up, you will see them there. So now, how do you need to look at potential supervisors? Do you see this right up here? It is not required to find potential supervisor before you begin application. The list below, though, may be helpful to learn about the research interests of our faculty. So it is not a requirement. So, but you see, contacting these people before applying is nice, but you are not required before you can apply. So you can apply. You can actually apply, get admission. The only thing is you must make sure that your proposal aligns with people that are here, that's need students, the type of research they have been doing, meaning you need to read about them. You see their area of specialization, area of interest. So what they have written here is they keep updating this website from time to time to show you the area of interest of each person in this place. These are faculties that can supervise you in this department, and there are different areas of interest. So you know who to contact if you want to write mail to them. Now, if you come to funding, you look at funding, all students accepted will receive financial support from their supervisors research fund. So when contacting faculty about research, ask about funding availability too. These are instructions. All students registered in thesis-based graduate program within the departments in the College of Agric and Bioresources receive a minimum level of funding at the beginning of their programs. Students are also eligible to receive other funding like scholarships and employment in addition to these levels. So minimum funding levels are as follows. You see, for master's students, you get 18,500 per year, and for PhD students, you get 22,000 per year. So if, for instance, you rest in Canada, the minimum money you need now to even apply for visa is $20,000 to apply for visa. And for a PhD program, you are getting 22,000. So you have already gotten the money for minimum deposits for you to apply for visa. You just need 1,500 to make up for masters to apply for your visa. So your funding has actually contributed a lot for your visa. And I believe that you also get other types of funding. Now, if you want to pay your tuition, look at the tuition. If you are an international student, for instance, the tuition for this September to December is 4 semesters. January to April is winter. May to August is spring or summer together. Spring and summer together. If you look at total amount you pay for a year for local students, this is for thesis or project-based program, is 4,932 for local students. International student pays $11,097. This is Canadian dollars. It's not US dollars. Note, US dollars is a bit higher than Canadian dollars. So then, but for doctoral program, there is no separation between local and international students. So if you are a PhD student, what the domestic student pays, that is Canadians and permanent residents are paying, is the same amount you are going to pay. So you see, you pay in a whole year 4,932. If your funding is 22,000 and you are paying 4,000, you still have a lot of money for yourself, and you can still work in Canada. Presently, there's full-time opportunity for students to work in Canada, and not just work. You can as well get the funding and you are working. Now, if you don't, by April 30th, that regulation will change. They said they are going to shift it to 30 hours a week. It's still higher than the one you do in the US. So you have that opportunity to work. At least you should be able to take care of yourself. What you need to do is, if you leave your country and you are here, you should be able to do something that will help you sustain yourself if you're able to get the scholarship. Now, if you look at other fees you pay, they are not as much as what you are going to receive. So now, what is the admission process? If you look at for masters, for you to get an admission for masters, I want to just look at strictly the GPA, that is cumulative grade points average, CGPA. Now, it says 70% in the last 2 years of your study. So, for instance, in your final year and in your third year, or your fourth year and your fifth year, depending on how many years your program is in your university, you will need 70% mark. So, for instance, in Nigeria, you need at least 3.6 over, that's here in 2-1, 3.6 over 5. To be able to score that, it should be 3.6, 3.7. Yeah, 3.6, 3.7 for you to be able to score that, to have 70%. But I will always advise you, if you are still an undergraduate student and you have opportunity to up your GPA, Please do that. Get up to 4 points. This is just for, they will just use it for the last 2 years of your study. So if you have made mistake in your first year, in your second year, your last 2 years, don't play. Make sure you do well. So, and then 4-year program. The English requirement is not basically for most countries that speak English. Most universities in Canada, including University of Saskatchewan, have removed requirement for Nigerian, Ghanaians that are studying in Canada to write English test. So you might not necessarily need to write English test. And at the end of the application, you will need to pay $120. This is where most people have issue paying this application fee, because they will think, oh, I will not get admission, I will spend $120. Look at the benefits compared to $120. And then some person will go to some countries where you don't need to pay to apply, and you get admission, and they will tell you to pay thousands of pounds, and you will never get funding. You will go and pay it. So which one is cheaper? Is it not pay $120, get admission, get funding, and come to Canada and have good education? See, it's a choice that I'm just trying to tell you the availability of this program. I'm not trying to preach about it. I'm just telling you the things that are available if you want to go for it, but it's not easy most times. You will need to get it. So this one example, but it's not every department that will tell you you don't need a supervisor. I just gave you one. So don't conclude that if you go to one particular school, that the whole department practice the same thing. Look at Department of Biochemistry, for instance. Let me go there. You come to the Department of Biochemistry, you see here all the area of specialization, but what's the requirement? They say we recommend that you contact the faculty that are doing research in an area that interests you before beginning a formal application. Do you see now? You need a supervisor here. That's a recommendation. So if they listed all the names of the potential supervisors and the type of work they do. And it says funding is restricted, admission is restricted to students for which there is available funding. So if there is no funding for you, they won't give you admission. So do you see why you must get a supervisor? They will not give admission. This department give admission strictly to those they can give money to, they can fund. So there's money. Get a supervisor, you get money, you get admission. So funding is generally through scholarships, grant funds, and departmental teaching assistantship. So if you come to the same tuition fee, it's not different, it's the same amount. The same way for PhD students, the same amount. You don't pay different from citizens and permanent residents, pay the same thing with international students. So you can come here. And when you look at the admission process, the first thing you need to do is to find a supervisor. If you find a supervisor, you are more or less 90% in getting admission if your CGPA, if you meet the criteria with your CGPA, that's cumulative grade point average of your last 2 years. Now look at here. That department, the other department asks for 70%. This department here is asking for 75%. So you see, it's not the same. It's not one size fits all. Read the instructions before you start your application. Make sure you meet the criteria. That 75% is around 3.8 over 5. If your grading is over 5, it's around 3.8 over 5. So you need to read the grading for your school. Moreover, if they ask you for a minimum and what you met is minimum, you know it's not too good for you. So that's why if you are still undergraduate, you have opportunity to go higher than that. Please go higher. But if you get a supervisor and you got this minimum, you will get admission. That's what I'm telling you. But if you don't get the minimum, the supervisor won't even rescue you. But the potential to get more scholarship and other additional funding is when you have a good GPA, you have some publications, and your supervisor is supporting you with good reference letters. Those are things that will help you to get higher scholarship as you progress in your program. So go through the university website, read the instruction based on your department. I'll show you 2 departments. One is asking for this thing. One is asking for supervisor is required. The other one is saying you don't need a supervisor to apply. And both of them are offering funding. So it is your choice to go for the one you want. and then check your university there, your department, your interest, and submit an application. Remember, because some of them need supervisor, you need to start very early to find a supervisor. It is very competitive. That's why sometimes you don't get response. You want to get response, start on time before they make promises to people that they will take for 2025 admission. I'm not even talking about 2024 because it's gone. So in most universities, it's gone. You won't get anybody. But 2025 admission, you will need a supervisor. Thank you for joining me again today. I want you to subscribe to the channel. As you subscribe to the channel, click the notification button. I'll be posting more universities and different universities that are very good universities in Canada that actually are giving admission and they are giving money. Thank you. Bye.